Welcome back. Well, each week I took James McCulloch of the Courier Mail. We affectionately call it Shonk Watch in Queensland. So many people going broke there, but not everyone. There are successful Queensland entrepreneurs. One of them is a friend of James, Sarina Russo, founder of recruitment and training company and a group bearing her name. It's helping her onto the BRW Rich list, whether that's a blessing or a curse. She's about to attend the Forbes Women in Leadership conference next week. She's known as being outspoken. So let her rip, Sarina Russo. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's a real pleasure to be on your show. I've always admired you. I think you're a fabulous woman and a great inspiration for all of us.
Well, that's very nice,
so
but you are in another state. You don't know me. James can fill you in on the real story.
I do know you. I absolutely know who you are, and I have followed your career, and I think you're fabulous.
Now, you were born in Sicily.
Exactly.
What does it mean? What does being Sicilian, without me doing bad jokes, what has that brought to you from the immigrant experience? Your father emigrated here. I think you were only 1 or 2, but interesting background.
Exactly. I think diversity is good, and I think immigration is fabulous because what it does is it brings in innovation, it brings in hunger, and it brings in opportunities for all of us. And I believe I've done that.
Good for you. Now, I don't know what it is about recruitment and women. I have to point out we have a woman called Julia Ross down here who made her fortune in recruitment agencies. We have Therese Rain up there. What is it about this?
Well, Julia Ross is fabulous, and Therese Rain is absolutely an inspiration to the world. I mean, she's now on a global stage.
But that you'd have 3 women be so successful and make so much money in this space.
I think that women in general have an emotional intelligence, and I really believe that where we're really good is really understanding, and we're great listeners. And the other thing is, you know, this emotional intelligence that now has become a science is really an actual tool that women do use, and guys aspire to it.
No, as I say, it is just interesting. I mean, obviously women are in lots of areas. I'm not a huge one for the whole, you know, women in business push too much, though I know that's your area. I did like a recent article you wrote saying, you know, stop blaming the men. I sort of said, here, get on with it yourself. I think there's a book called Lean In the US causing a controversy.
Janine, that's true. I mean, we often not just blame guys, but we blame the environment, we blame the government, we blame, you know, the economy. We're always blaming someone. So I really believe that the greatest opportunity you have is to review and reflect on yourself and take responsibility and be accountable. And I really believe that I've done that in the last 34 years. And I'm very, very proud to say that this is truly a success, is where you can reflect, re-engineer and review your own ability.
Well,
and,
that's very well.
Have the capacity to do more.
I'm all for that, but let's lay a bit of blame while we're at it. You're up there in Queensland. You lived through the last Labor government. There was a bit of a euphoria before the change of government. How are business conditions up there now?
Well, I think Campbell Newman's doing a fabulous job. I believe that, you know, he's passionate, he's committed, he wants to change. And I think the... you know, if there's any criticism, is that he's just going too fast because he really wants to do as much as he can. And I really think that a lot of people, a lot of Queenslanders can't adapt to change, whereas leaders, great leaders today, should be able to embrace uncertainty, chaos, ambiguity and the speed of change. Well,
that sounds like what they have to put up with thanks to Canberra, really. So what you're saying is the change of government was positive from a business confidence point of view, wasn't it? I'm trying to draw the parallels with Canberra. As a business person, and especially in the job sector, in the recruitment side, do you worry about the next 6 months just being lost as we stand still in an election campaign?
Well, I really think that you've got to give it to Julia. I mean, she's had some really extraordinary challenges.
I think a lot of people want to give it to Julia, Sarina. I think they want to give her the heave-ho, but give her defence of it, that's fine.
But maybe one of the challenges that she has now, reflecting back, is maybe that when she set a date for the election date, she really put herself in a caretaker state. But you have to also give it to her that she also wants to create change and be able to make a point of difference. And as a woman, I really admire her, and I also understand that she has an extraordinary amount of challenges ahead of her. So,
but what do you think as a business person? Forget gender, Sarina. As a business person, what do you think of business conditions at the moment under this government? I mean, there's a general view that a change of government would be healthier. Well, as I read, CEO Business Pulse today, a Business Spectator, that CEOs are losing confidence in this government. I was stunned by that because I didn't think any had any left.
Well, I really do think that we've got to stop blaming the government. I think that we've got to look at ourselves as leaders. And there are things in life that we can't change, but we can change ourselves. And I think our responsibility is to inspire the people around us and to adapt to whatever is happening. And I think that's where great leaders are born. I think that if you just rely on this government, the new government, etc., you will never achieve. And I think that in the last 34 years...
But hold on, if you're talking about great leaders, you couldn't surely put Julia Gillard in that category, because the trouble is she can't lead her own cabinet. There are great initiatives being done, but the leadership's not there. I mean, if what you say is right, in business, she's not passing any of the tests, is she?
Well, Janine, you know, my job here is not to criticise our Prime Minister. I can only respect her position, and I really believe that leadership is all about accountability, and you can't just rely on one person or one Prime Minister. You can look at the world and think, you know, there's dysfunctionality in Cyprus, etc. But you have to, as a leader, convince yourself that you can go out there and still make a point of difference and adjust to the environment and lead and inspire your world or your business or your corporation.
I know, but
as
that's my point. She's not exactly leading and inspiring even her own troops. How do you survive if you don't have that leadership quality?
Well, you know, as I said, my job here tonight is not to criticise, but to talk about leadership in a global sense. And I really believe that every leader has got to go out there and understand that uncertainty is the norm, chaos is the norm, ambiguity is the norm.
Oh, well, we're certainly
the speed of change is the norm.
On those benchmarks, Sarina, she's doing very well then, I would say, isn't she?
I am not a politician, and I'm not going to criticise my Prime Minister.
Well,
and I can, you know, I can also say Tony Abbott, you know, is a great leader, and, you know, he may be able to go out there and really make a difference. But today, my job as a leader of my group, where we have 1,200 staff in the UK and in Australia, where we're touching people's lives, I'm very, very excited about what we're doing. And that's what I really care about. I really care about enhancing people's lives and inspiring people to go out there and make a difference and stop blaming the government.
Okay, I think that's admirable that you don't blame the government. So then just tell us how business conditions are at the moment.
Well, I really think they're great. I mean, we are living in the most exciting time of our lives. We have got things like the smartphone, which I pull up here, which you will find the next 5 to 10 billion, unless the business model changes, unless we disrupt ourselves, someone else is going to disrupt us. In the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to have something like 2 billion people join the online business model, and that's what I really care about. I really care about consumer behaviour, how it's changing, and how do we adapt and still fit a business into the new world of the internet and the new smartphone.
Do you agree that government has a role in that too? Because I talked to an innovation economy expert from the US last week, and his point, given that you've held up the iPhone, is that innovation and economies need government help. It's very important you have governments with vision and leadership, because the private sector can't do everything.
But you know what, that's the economist's point of view, but I'm an entrepreneur, and I always see an opportunity, and I always believe that sometimes a crisis is a gift. And in my 34 years, we've had many crises, but I look back and I think, what a gift. Go back to the new model of business, that unless we, if I can just share one thing to our viewers, that unless we change our business model and get onto the online business, we won't have a business. Now, that to me is exciting. Today, the opportunity that we have in so many aspects of life and business is so, so exciting. We don't have to walk to the library anymore. We just turn on the iPhone and we've got what we call Google. I mean, there is so much change and so much excitement and so much information. That's what excites me every day. I get excited about, you know, adapting and embracing change.
Well, I can see what your message is going.
Inspire others to do that as well.
I can see what your message is going to be to the Forbes conference. You're also involved with the Cherie Blair mentoring groups. You're obviously a believer in women and empowering women, whereas I always think maybe they'd be better mixing with the men if they've still got the power.
Well, Janine, I'm wearing right now a Same Sky bracelet. I'm the ambassador of Same Sky. This necklace and this bracelet right now is about empowering women in Rwanda with HIV. And if we could go out and just buy one bracelet, we can feed them for a month. I really believe that today our social responsibility is empowering women who really do have a sense of responsibility for their children, for their education, and for the future. And I am a great believer that women are really the greatest resource together with education, the greatest resource in the 21st century. And I really believe that if I can today give one message, and that is, if it is to be, it is up to me, regardless whether I'm a woman or next door there's a guy, I think we've got equal opportunity to go out there and lead and make a difference in people's lives, not just in Australia, but in a global scale. And that's my mission. I'd like to become the Madonna of touching people's lives.
Very worthy sentiments. Just getting to the practicality, though, you mentioned the word education. What do you think of the education reforms here? Obviously, education's important too.
Well, I really believe that education has been my lifetime learning. I really believe that we do have education in my own business. You know, we're involved in the James Cook University partnership here in Brisbane.
What do you think of the reforms we've seen this week?
The reforms are good.
Yeah.
Transformation is good. Anything that you can think differently and help the young and inspire the young to do more, become more, you know, have a better way of teaching, improve, that is fabulous. That is a great, great journey. But it's more than that. It's actually educating people to never give up and continue on learning for the rest of their lives. You know, whether you're 10 or you're 82, you know, if you've got to keep the mind curious and learn, that's what keeps you motivated and keeps your life active and exciting. So I'm a great believer of feeding the mind. And I really believe that the mind should be all about education rather than just thinking about, you know, mining, etc., which is very, very important. But if we can do one thing, and educate us as individuals, we should not rely on the government. We should, you know, be prepared to say, what can we do for our country?
I'm all for the clever country as well as digging up mines. So thank you very much for your thoughts tonight. Good luck at the Forbes Women in Leadership Conference. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I think you're fabulous
Sarina
too.
Russo.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
That's it for tonight. I'll be back to do it all again tomorrow night. Maybe back in Brisbane with James McCulloch tomorrow night. Yeah, so same time, same host, different guests. See you then.